Spirit. Amen. Amen. Please be seated. I begin a story by saying Jesus and his disciples were walking along Rat Beach towards Torrance Beach. Everybody has a picture of what that looks like, from Rat Beach to Torrance Beach. If I begin my sermon by saying Jesus and his disciples were walking on the boundary trail, PV, that provides another picture of where Jesus and his disciples are. If you have that many people walking on the boundary trail, it won't be long before the police are called to address all the people walking on the boundary trail. If I see Jesus and his disciples were walking in Hollywood, that's a very different picture of where Jesus and his disciples are. All of these very different locations in this very small section of the world where we live. Jesus and his disciples were walking in Caesarea Philippi. Caesarea Philippi is in the northwest corner of Israel. It is where the Golan Heights are now. It's not traditionally land that belonged to the Israelites. It's not part of their tribal ancestry. But Herod the Great, who gave himself the title the Great, Herod the Great took over the land, and Caesar Augustus said, "Herod, this is wonderful that you have done this." And Herod said, "I know. And because it is so wonderful, I'm going to build a temple to you, Caesar." And so Herod, ignoring the first, second, and third commandment, decided that he would build a temple to Caesar Augustus. Caesar Augustus, who declared himself to be divine. Divine Caesar Augustus. And then Herod died, and Herod split his kingdom among 4 of his children. And one of his children, Philip, got Caesarea. And Philip said, "You know what would make Caesarea even better? Is if I put my name on the end of it." And so Caesarea Philippi is born. And so Jesus and his disciples are walking in Roman land. Remember last week, they were in pagan land. Now they're in super pagan land, Roman land. And Jesus says, "Who do people say that I am?" And the disciples say, "Well, some say you're John the Baptist, others say that you're Elijah." And Jesus says, "But who do you say that I am?" And Simon says, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And Jesus says, "Peter, you're right." And Peter is so proud. He is so proud. And Jesus says, "You are the rock on which I will build my church. You are Peter, the rock in which I will build my church." And then Jesus says something very perplexing to his disciples. He says, "Be quiet. Don't tell anybody that I'm the Messiah." Now, I imagine Peter as the type of person who was never quiet about anything. I imagine when Peter declared Jesus to be Messiah, he said, "You are the Messiah, the Son of God." And Jesus is like, "Dude, shut up. You got it right, but we are in pagan Roman land. Caesar, at this point, is either Caesar Tiberius or Caesar Gaius, who we better know as Caligula. Caligula is an insulting name, by the way. Caligula means booties or bootsy. So I love that we have Emperor Bootsy. Emperor Bootsy is not a kind man, if you know your history at all. And the emperor is deified. The emperor is said to be a god. Philip is definitely the king. And here Peter is saying that Jesus is the Son of God and the King of kings. He's the Messiah. He's the one we've been waiting for. And Jesus is saying, keep it down. And it's very important that this takes place here in Roman land. Because Jesus never sets out to be a king like Philip or Herod. He never sets out to be the emperor. When Jesus is captured in the Garden of Gethsemane, one of his disciples draws a sword and cuts off the ear of one of the servants of the temple. And Jesus says, "Knock it off." And he heals the man. And he says, "Put away your sword." He says, "Don't you know that if I wanted, I could ask my Father for 12 legions of angels? I could immediately become emperor of this land. It would be nothing for me to completely annihilate the Roman military system and install myself as emperor." He says, "That is not what my kingdom is about. I don't want to sit on a throne. I don't want to be in parades with chariots and horses and captured prisoners and all the treasure that we took from our enemies. My kingdom is not of this world." Jesus over and over again says, "My kingdom is not of this world." But Jesus also says over and over again that the kingdom is here and now. And so when Jesus says, "My kingdom is not of this world," what he's saying is, I am not a human king. I am not here to subjugate you. I am here to teach you how to love the way we were made to love. I'm here to teach you about the true kingdom. Yesterday, at the rummage sale, I stood at the door. I was the greeter. For 4 days of the rummage sale, I was the greeter. I don't know why it took me 4 years to realize that I could just stand at the door and greet people as they came in and say goodbye to people as they left. It is the perfect job for the priest. Now, Gloria did have me pull security in the boutique on Friday. But after about an hour and a half, I didn't catch any criminals. I didn't see any criminals. It's not that I'm a bad security guard. I just didn't see anybody trying to be sneaky. And I said, I'm done with this. And I went to the front door to greet people. And amazingly, people would come by and they would say, "Are you security?" I'd say, "No. I'm sorry the church hurt you. I am not security. I'm here to say hello." And then somebody said, "Are you the gatekeeper?" I said, "No. I'm the gate welcomer." And multiple people came out doing the whole grocery bag trick. And I said, "Can I please help you?" Nobody wanted my help. I said, "These arms pick up children 50 pounds or more every day." I didn't say that. But I made the mistake of reading the news. I made the mistake of reading news about Mississippi. And Mississippi has been Mississippiing pretty hard lately. Which is to say, they just keep falling down the stairs. I was in a bad mood. And this woman comes out. She says, "Can I tell you a story?" And I said, "Yes. Please tell me a story." She says, "I was running a bakery. I had opened a bakery. I was working in the bakery, and my son got his first job. And he brought his paycheck home, and he said, 'Mom, I want you to use this. I want you to have this money. I know that we're struggling right now, that you're struggling right now, and I want you to have this.'" And she is so grateful. And she takes the money and she goes to the rummage sale and she buys 2 silver candlesticks. And she comes home and she shows her son what she bought. And he says, "Why did you buy that? Why didn't you come home with a TV? I gave you money for something good." And she said, "Son, these are good. We need some beauty in our home. TVs come and go, but these will last." And her son thought the things that sons think about their moms who do ridiculous things. But she had those candlesticks, these things of beauty in her home, and her son is now engaged to be married. He lives in San Francisco now, and his mom said she took those candlesticks and she packed them up and she mailed them to her son so that he and his wife can have something beautiful in their first home. That is the kingdom that Jesus is talking about. That is the kingdom that can be revealed to us day after day, hour after hour, if we are open to hearing about it, if we are open to seeing it. I went from a place of why does God bother to a place of God, you are so amazing, within the space of 3 minutes, the time it took her to tell me that story. Jesus does not want a kingdom where he rules over all. Jesus wants a kingdom where we love one another, where we hold one another up. Jesus' kingdom is about the relationships that exist between person to person. It is in that space where we experience the kingdom most, or at least where I experience the kingdom most. Jesus is saying, I don't want to be like Caesar, and I don't want to be like Philip. I am the Son of God. I am the Messiah. And my world is eternal because love is eternal.